Queen Elizabeth II died on Thursday, 8 September 2022, aged 96. This sparked a flood of tributes for the monarch, who reigned for a record-breaking 70 years before passing away. From world readers to members of the public, the social media landscape was filled with expressions hours since it was announced that the sovereign had died at Scotland's Balmoral Castle. However, many people from former colonies and territories that were under the British rule, who consider her a figurehead for the brutality of their people suffered under British imperialism, had the time to open up their hearts and speak up their minds. This sparked a wave of messages on Twitter featuring the African people and African descendants across the world, the Irish people, the Indians, and other people across Asia. Most people saw this as a chance to express their anger and hatred towards the monarch for the years of oppression that their ancestors endured and their descendants still endure as a result of the legacy left behind by colonization and slavery. In this video, we'll be looking at the most hateful and angry comments that came out of the hearts of Africans on Twitter, expressing their hatred to the monarch and remembering how their ancestors suffered in the hands of the colonizers. The most common comment on the internet came from Malema and the South African EFF, who scripted a whole statement explaining why they will not mourn the Queen. Our interaction with Britain under the leadership of the British royal family has been one of pain and suffering, of death and dispossession, and of dehumanization of the African people, he said. In the statement, he recalled how the British people took control over South Africa in 1805 from the Batavian control, and since then has been using it to enrich the British royal family at the expense of the native people of Africa. He recalls the war against the Maxhosa in the Zulu Veld, how King Kele died in the aftermath of the Fifth Frontier War, and how King Hinta was killed like a cock and his head taken to Britain as a trophy. He added how Cecil Rhodes was used to plunder South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Zambia, and how the British people mutilated the people of Kenya and killed over 100,000 people, with the benefits going back to the royal family. Under her watch, the Queen oversaw the building of concentration camps in Kenya that suppressed the Mau Mau rebellion with such inhuman brutality and finally killed Dedan Kimathi. In the statement, Malema also states how the royal family plundered India, oppressed the people of the Caribbean islands, caused millions of people to die in Bengal, with their racism leading to the genocide of Aboriginal people of Australia. With all this, he added, the Queen has never once acknowledged these crimes, and she has been a proud flag bearer of these atrocities during her reign, even with the fact that the British colony was built by millions of slaves shipped to serve the interests of the white capital accumulation. This statement was not the only comment that was reminding Africans of the pain that they had gone through. A lady by the name Uju Anya, who is a professor at the University of Carnegie Mellon and who is a descendant of Nigeria Biafra region, had already made a statement before the death of the Queen, saying, "I heard the chief monarch of a living, raping, genocidal empire is finally dying. May her pain be excruciating." This statement came under fire by Jeff Bezos, who said, "This is someone supposedly working to have the world better. I don't think so. Wow." Uju Anya replied, "If anyone expects me to express anything but disdain for the monarch, who supervised a government that sponsored the genocide that massacred and displaced half my family, and the consequences of which those alive today are still trying to overcome, you can keep wishing upon that star. But I tell you what, Jeff Bezos hatustui. He does not scare us." Other nasty comments include, Mutai reminded us of Koitalel Samoi, who had his head chopped off and taken to London, kept in a museum for 117 years. Why do they do that? Is it for rituals? He also reminded us of the torture, murder, and slavery that took place in Kenya. And he said we cannot edit history. Let's be honest. Britain violently colonized Africa. They brutally murdered our ancestors. They brutalized our mothers and fathers. That is the true legacy of Queen Elizabeth as far as Africa is concerned. That we are hanging on to the Commonwealth years later, it is a travesty. Black diaspora said Queen Elizabeth visit South Africa in 1947 happened the same time the apartheid regime came into place. Zoe said, as a first generation of my family not born in a British colony, I would dance on the graves of every member of the royal family if given an opportunity, especially hers. Norman reminded us that more than 300,000 Kenyans were killed in the Mau Mau massacre. Dorothy said colonized people and their descendants do not owe their colonizers decorum or well wishes, and many will most certainly not rue their demise. Rich said Queen Elizabeth is a symbol of slavery, oppression, and pioneer of our poverty in Africa. He also said, I will not and I cannot celebrate that queen with a dark heart, may she rot in hell. Splash said, so I need the British monarch to bring back the priceless heirlooms, art, gems, body parts, look into the medical schools and museums, bones, anything else that was seized violently. Black diaspora voice asked, when is it appropriate for Africans to talk about European crimes against Africa, and do we need permission to talk about genocide and slavery? Don Salomon said, long live Steve Biko, leader of the conscious black movement. He was kidnapped and tortured by the apartheid regime. Queen Elizabeth and her government never condemned it. The Samburu's queen said, they are now saying that we are victims of mental inferiority and we are racist, where this is what they did to us. The queen never apologized to Africans. How can we celebrate her? A lot of comments were passed, but the most catchy one was a reference to an old video that was posted by DW News on a woman who her name was Muthoni Mathenge, a freedom fighter who was tortured with everything including axes so that she can sell out her husband, General Mathenge. Watch it quietly and let it touch your heart. For more comments, I'll be leaving you on the read after this video, so kindly watch to the end. Subscribe to this channel, like and share.
No diaga na arehe okodo koiko yakane ane eze modo ore na hakiri jega arehe ko wadwa yo oh ni ya mure nai
No. You know. Oh.
Ea gwokirio mũngũrũrio rĩ, ngĩũrio kũrĩa rĩ, ngiuga niĩ ndimũĩrĩga. Ngĩrega ũngiuga no ũragwo. Ũka rĩ, mũciĩ ũrĩ o kuo, kana mwana wake oke. Tondũ rĩ, mũhĩrĩga. Akĩnjotora gũkũ na akĩnjotora gũkũ akangura kũgũrũ gũkũ ona mũngĩona kũgũrũ gũkũ no muone gũkũ one baba one ũrĩa kũhana gĩcigo tene marano ameri. Kĩhoto gĩakwa tondũ nĩwe ũrĩ gĩtĩ-inĩ nĩ atũme indo ciakwa na itikanengerwo mũndũ.
Some people are saying that celebrating or minimizing the death of the Queen is insensitive. That may be true, but in my view, it's even more insensitive to saturate our media with celebratory posts about a person who, for many people, is a symbol of genocide, and all the violent institutions that came with it. She was queen when Britain helped lead the war that destroyed my country, and just this year she gave a knighthood to one of the main criminal masterminds behind it, Tony Blair. Far from showing respect for the dead, that's basing it's honorable to kill hundreds of thousands of Iraqis. And of course, this is just one of countless atrocities committed in the name of a crown adorned with the spoils of war. So in my view, it's totally inappropriate for people to police how victims of colonization took the passing of the Queen. And I think it's only right that if we choose to remember her legacy, that we remember all of it.